Welcome to Region Wars. Which region is more powerful, Johto or Hoenn? Find out in this battle. Alright guys, so in this battle, we're having a region war between Johto and Hoenn. The rules are you have to use three of the all three starters of that generation, and three of some of your favorite Pokemon of that generation. Alright, so I lead with a Crobat and taunt the Swampert so it doesn't set up Stealth Rocks, and then I U-turn away into Meganium, because Meganium is cute and stuff. Alright, so Jess is going to Waterfall. It's not very effective, obviously, on Meganium, and I'm going to try to hit that, I'm going to actually Leech Seed on the switch, hoping I can get a Leech Seed on something, but she actually goes into Slippy, her, Sceptile, and obviously Leech Seed isn't going to work on that. But she's going to predict my switch and Leech Seed, pretty nice prediction on her part, and she gets my Crobat, which is bad for me. She's going to withdraw Slippy and go into Swampert again as I taunt, I don't know, I just didn't want the Sceptile doing much more, but I get the taunt off on Swampert, which isn't too bad, because now she's not going to be able to set up Stealth Rocks again. So I U-turn, and I U-turn out back into Meganium, and she once again waterfalls for nothing, and yeah, I'm just going to try to Energy Ball on her switch, and she once again withdraws into Slippy, and Slippy is going to take the Energy Ball quite nicely, and yeah, it's not very effective. So anyway, I'm going to switch into Scizor this time, and this is my Choice Band Scizor. She's going to sub, so I'm just going to U-turn, figuring she's probably going to try to set up the Leech Seed, and she does. So she sets up the Leech Seed, but I U-turn, which is good for me, because not only does that get rid of Leech Seed, but it also gets rid of her sub, and I can go into something now that will scare it away. So I go into Crobat, and I'm just going to try to taunt it, because I don't think she has any moves that can really hurt Crobat if it's taunted. But she once again withdraws, and this time goes into Wailord. And actually, no, I Super Fang. Okay, never mind. I Super Fang. And I hit the Wailord with Super Fang, and that does a bunch of HP, because Wailord has a bunch of HP. And I'm going to taunt this thing because I don't want it to do anything gay, and she's just going to Ice Beam, and that is super effective on Crobat, and only does about half to me, actually, because of how bulky my Crobat is, and yeah, cool stuff. So I U-turn out, and I decide to go out into Scizor, thinking she's probably going to Ice Beam again, and Scizor will resist it. So I'm just going to U-turn out, figuring she probably switch, and if it doesn't, U-turn should do a lot of damage to that Wailord. So I go for the U-turn, and she goes into Swampert, and I end up getting a crit, which is bad for her, and I make a big misplay here. I go into Dustbuster, and I don't even know why. I really should have went into Crobat to taunt, but I go for the Body Slam, hoping I can KO, and I just don't. And she sets up the Stealth Rocks, which is huge, because Stealth Rocks is going to completely rape my team. And none of the Pokemon I chose, because we were supposed to choose our favorites, none of the Pokemon I chose really had Stealth Rocks as an option. So I go into Crobat as she goes into Aggron. I know Crobat's going to die to whatever she decides to do, but I'd rather Crobat die than anyone else, probably. So, unfortunately, Crobat's going to take the bullet there. And I go into Scizor, kind of scare off the Aggron, and I go for the superpower. She makes a good play and just death fodders her Swampert. So, there you go. Now she goes into Blaziken, and obviously I'm not going to stay in. I actually go into Meganium thinking she might T-punch, thinking this is a Scarf Blaziken, but actually it's a Banded Blaziken. So that superpower does a lot of damage to Meganium, and I'm not going to be able to take another. And I just want to go into Feraligatr because I believe Feraligatr can take one after the -1 attack, and Feraligatr does take it. But not really well. So I'm just going to go for the Ice Punch, predicting a switch into Slippy, but she actually goes into Ludicolo, which is a Pokemon she likes, that I just find incredibly annoying, and yeah, there's a lot of annoying Pokemon on her team that I just can't deal with at the moment. So I go into Meganium, she goes for the Grass Knot, and yeah, that actually does more than I would have liked to Meganium, because Meganium is kind of fat. So I'm going to set up the light screen. Hopefully I can survive a Grass Knot after the light screen. And I do with 2 hit points. Whoa. So I decided to switch, and I don't really know why I switched. I mean, Meganium is just death fodder because of the Stealth Rocks. But she Grass Knots again, and after the Resistance and the Light Screen, it doesn't do anything to Scizor. She's going to Protect to see what move I lock myself into, which is a good play on her part, and I use U-Turn, but it's obviously not going to do anything after Protect. And she goes into Aggron, and Aggron takes the U-Turn really nicely. And I'm just going to go out into Typhlosion, and I'm just going to go for the Overheat, figuring it'll do damage to anything. She goes into Ludicolo, and Overheat still does a nice chunk of damage to Ludicolo for sure. And yeah, it's not too bad. And yeah, I decided to go back into Scizor, pretty much. So I go into Meganium as Death Fodder, that's right. So she Toxics. And I went into Meganium because I didn't want her to, like, Leech Seed or anything, Scizor. But I go for the U-Turn now, again, and she Protects to see what I do, and I go for the U-Turn, so obviously she's going to go back into Aggron, Timmy the Aggron. So, yeah, I U-Turn, and once again, it doesn't do a whole lot. So I go back into Typhlosion, and I thought she would predict the Overheat and go into, like, Blaziken or stay in with Aggron, hopefully. So I go for the Earthquake, and that's bad for me. I really should have went for the Overheat, because that Ludicolo would have been dead after 2 Overheats. So that's really unfortunate. I go back into Scizor. She sets up the Leech Seed this time, and that's really bad. And I really can't stay in because I don't want to take another Leech Seed. And I know she's probably going to Protect. So I go into Dustbuster, and she does try to Protect, so that's kind of good for me. So I go for the trick to get away my Choice Scarf and get the leftovers the Ludicolo has, and she Toxics me, and that's really bad. But I know she's locked into Toxic, so I'm going to go for the Focus Punch. And she decides to go out into Wailord, and I'm just hoping after a Focus Punch and a Body Slam I can KO the Wailord. I know it has leftovers, so I know it's a bulky set, and it probably, and that Focus Punch did not do as much as I was hoping. So I just kind of have to hope I can KO now with Body Slam. So I try to do that, and I'm not going to quite be able to KO it. And it's going to get off of rest. And looking at my team, I'm swept. I do not have anything else to KO this Wailord. I cannot kill it. It's unfortunate because I know it's rest. I know it probably has Sleep Talk. I go into Scizor just kind of hoping that I'll be able to, it'll get a rest off the Sleep Talk, but it gets a Water Spout. And, yeah, I'm swept. I cannot KO this Wailord, and that's really bad. I'm going to try to Focus Punch, because a crit Focus Punch and a crit Body Slam will KO, but I'm not even going to get the Focus Punch off because she Ice Beams. And, yeah, great game, JoltsBolt. That Wailord really effed me over here at the end. I guess Hoenn is stronger than Johto, at least for today. I know we're going to do another one, Kanto versus Sinnoh sometime, so stay tuned for that at another later date. And here we go. Here's just rubbing salt in the wound. I miss with Overheat. Not that it would have done anything, but that's just rubbing salt in the wound right there. Whatever. Typhlosion goes down, and my last poke is, of course, for Alligator, who, after the Stealth Rocks, is only going to get 1 hit off because of Life Orb. So I Earthquake, not going to kill the Wailord, obviously, but I am going to die to my own Life Orb. So rate, comment, subscribe, guys. See you guys next time. Check out JoltsBolt, link in the description. Alright, peace, dudes. Bye. So with the abundance amount of water types my opponent JoltsBolt used, I thought today's question of the day should be, what is your favorite water type? My favorite water type is the most powerful of them all. I mean, it swept teams of Ubers, and it's just overall a cool poke, a powerful poke, and one you don't hear about too often. Of course I speak about Magikarp. What's your favorite water type?